Purchasing power index data has just been revealed. Coinbase asked users to convert their USDT to USDC for free. Binance reserves are disclosed, is a disaster waiting to happen, and NFTs could help solve diamond certification fraud. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Assets of Value podcast. Today, on the 9th of December, and every day, we connect to share our insights and perspectives on crypto, Web3, and NFT topics. We are the founders of Assets of Value, a Web3 research organization. Our podcast is not to be taken as legal or financial advice. Let's jump straight into it. Abe, on a Friday, end of the week, PPI data has just come out. What are the markets looking like today?
Surprisingly, Bitcoin has responded positively to the latest PPI data. Bitcoin is up 2% to 17.1K. It went up to 17.2K. So we can clearly say that Bitcoin has overcome the big 17K resistance for now. And once we confirm a retest on 17K, and that will be the bullish case for Bitcoin in the coming weeks.
I'm just looking at price action across the board. It's actually gone green. FTT is seeing a massive pump of 22%. Yeah, maybe we ignore that one. But yeah, it's generally green across the board. The PPI data looks to be positive for sure. Brilliant. Okay. Let's switch over and jump straight into the news. Coinbase is asking users to convert their USDT to the stablecoin USDC, and they're not charging for this. Why is Coinbase recommending and requesting users to do this?
That's an interesting question. Let's discuss the backstory. Binance is forcing users to convert all their stablecoin holdings into BUSD. Why? Because Binance has a vested interest in the BUSD stablecoin. Because Binance, along with Paxos, is issuing the coin so that it is highly regulated, it is highly controlled, and there won't be much negative things that causes or instills a DPEG event. At the same time, we can see that the market cap of USDT is getting a hit, and the market cap of USDC is also getting a hit. Arguably, BUSD is the highest beneficiary of these two stablecoins' change in market valuation. But let's come to the USDC factor because we know that Circle is a partner of Coinbase. And when Circle sees that it's losing market share to BUSD and USDT, it is possible that they ask their friend to do something about it. We know that Coinbase is the largest exchange in the United States, and it certainly has a level of trust. And Brian Armstrong, who is the CEO of Coinbase, he's also a well known, well respected person in the space. So when Coinbase tries to push USDC over USDT, I think it's not so positive for USDT Tether because it's already facing a lot of troubles from other exchanges as well.
Do you think USDC is under collateralized at the moment? Is it the fact that they need dollars backing their stable coin before they make a move to disclose their finances? And as a way of fudding USDT, it could almost be like a desperate move to gain some stability in the USDC coin and some liquidity by attacking a close competitor. Could that be a case going on behind the scenes?
Well, that could be. We cannot say for sure right now. But if you look at the stats, we can see that BUSD alone processes almost thrice the volume of USDC. We should understand that BUSD is only actively traded in Binance. Although the other exchanges that supports BUSD, there are no trading pairs. So Binance accounts for at least thrice the volume of BUSD, and that's a massive figure, right? And if you compare the Tether situation, Tether is at least four times of the volume. We are talking about 24-hour volume of $30 billion in Tether, and USDC just has 2 billion, while BUSD possesses almost $6.9 billion. And these are massive figures. And currently, if you check CoinGecko, I think USDC is slightly under the peg. It's like 0.99. We can say that maybe the news is not well received by the Tether community.
It just makes me wonder, we are in a crypto winter at the moment. And if we look forward to 2024, how are these exchanges going to survive? They flourish on trading volume, trading fees, and the launch of new tokens that bring in more liquidity and more activity on their exchanges, thus fueling their bottom line by charging those transaction fees. But if this downturn continues, exchanges are really going to struggle. So I am quite concerned. And I want to bring Binance into this conversation as well, because they've recently disclosed their reserves. And I'm questioning, is this a disaster waiting to happen? If we go through the breakdown, Binance has come out and said it's got 28% of its holding in BNB, 26% in BUSD, 16% in USDT, and 10% in BTC. It's not looking good for exchanges, and certainly it's not looking good for Binance if all of its risks are within the cryptocurrencies as opposed to any gold reserves or any USD physical reserves. What's your take on this?
Usually, exchanges hold their reserves in crypto only. And I don't think it's a bad move for Binance to hold their reserves in BNB and BUSD because they control and they manipulate the price of BNB and maintain the peg of BUSD pretty easily. We are talking about almost $7 billion in 24-hour volume for BUSD. And if they can maintain that volume without any issues, like I don't even remember when BUSD went under peg. It didn't happen for a long time. So Binance is capable as long as it's the biggest centralized exchange. But let me share you all an industry secret right now. Most of the exchanges, I repeat, most of them pay their employees in their coin, in their currency. For example, I'm not specifically taking names here, but let's come to Binance. Binance has the coin BNB, and KuCoin has coin KCC, Gate has GT, and all these coins are traded on their respective exchanges. I'm not saying that Gate is paying its employees with GT token, but let's be discreet about that. But most of these centralized exchanges are paying their employees in their coin. So what these people are doing, they are printing money out of thin air and maintaining their workforce. If they continue to do this, of course their native coin will be affected, but I think this is a good way of surviving for the exchanges. And I'm happy to announce that we'll be conducting an external research about all these exchanges and how they sold or how they manipulated the price of their own native coin in the bull run. And we'll analyze which exchanges have done an honest job about it.
Thank you for that preview regarding the exchange report and their native tokens. It's certainly an eye opener where exchanges are paying their employees in their native tokens. In a bull market, that's absolutely fine. But on a downturn, it could really take a hit in terms of the dollar value that's associated to it. It's impressive the fact that Binance is still doing 7 billion in terms of volume. Many feel that we are at the bottom of the crypto market, or soon to be the bottom. But from a trading volume perspective, that seems to be churning over. And those that are still in the industry and are still active, we feel are going to be the participants continuing and waiting for the next bull run.
Yeah, I completely agree. And if you consider Binance situation, we know that they are holding almost 18% in USDT, right? That means they still have stakes in USDT. So Binance won't let USDT fall into nothingness. I think Binance is one of the biggest supporter of USDT, even though they have a competitor as BUSD. And is it wrong? Is it manipulative? And is it unhealthy that Binance holds almost 28% of their reserves in BNB? No, right? Because it's an exchange coin. Their reserves should be in their exchange coins because that's where the liquidity comes from. But Binance is not just about the exchange, it's also a chain. And in that aspect, I think it's bad because no exchange or no single party should hold that much BNB. And let's be honest here, the amount of BNB Binance has, it can destabilize the entire BNB price action in a moment. And Binance also has 10% BTC in its reserves. That's pretty good. We know that Binance holding of BTC is still one of the biggest in the world. I think they won't manipulate or they can't manipulate the price of Bitcoin at this point. So it's a fair game.
Binance is certainly in control of its own destiny, it feels like. The fact that they've got such huge reserves in BNB, pointed out, and perhaps rightly so, and 26% is in USD, which we would like to think that that is backed by or can be switched out to USD if there was ever a need. It just seems that if it went wrong, could it go desperately wrong? And that's my only issue right now. There seems to be the most strongest player at the moment. They seem like they are the go-to exchange that everyone's going to. I just wouldn't want it to fail. I don't think I could take another catastrophic failure, especially at the size of Binance is. Let's switch gears. I think that's enough exchange talk. SBF is still in the news, and we certainly don't want to be touching on that. I think that story is continuing to evolve. Let's move over to NFTs and the fact that the very nature of non-fungible tokens could help solve diamond certification fraud. Do you think there's a use case in that?
I think that's the biggest use case NFT as a technology can offer because it's evident that NFTs can support or help in preventing fraud because there will be just one NFT and it is verifiable by its unique ID, and the history of the NFT is clear so that they know that this diamond or this asset is not smuggled, it isn't stolen, or it is not related to some illegal activities or illegal persons. And this is important if you need a strong and sustainable asset management practice because the assets you hold should not be related to any illicit activity. Because if it is related to any illicit activity, the government or the police could seize it in a moment's notice.
I'm liking this. The fact that diamonds are both rare and precious items, it makes it a perfect candidate to validate on the blockchain via authentication. We know that the GIA diamond certificates that are issued, they can be, let's say, changed or doctored or counterfeited. The fact that these could be on chain via NFTs does ensure that they are immutable, transparent, and the proof of ownership is verified.
Yeah, sure. Let me ask you something. On which blockchain could the certificates be launched? Will the trustworthy or will the companies or will the authorities will take some risks and issue it on Solana, or will they prefer to issue it on Ethereum, which is pretty much the standard?
Great question. As you were saying that, the first chain that came to my mind was Matic, was Polygon, believe it or not. Two reasons. One, because of its speed and cost. And secondly, the fact that it is a layer two solution sitting on top of the Ethereum chain. I think it makes it a prime candidate. Usually we could have potentially said Solana, but with uncertainty within that ecosystem, perhaps I'm leaning over to Matic. And I would maybe drop some alpha here. I think that Polygon NFTs could be gaining a lot of traction in the very near future. If Solana ecosystem is shaken or continues to be shaken, I think Polygon is potentially primed to take over the slack in regards to this. But for that to happen, I think there needs to be a tipping point where Ethereum NFTs become inaccessible or too costly to participate in, therefore opening the door for this second wave of ownership around NFTs with an Ethereum backed blockchain, but at a cheaper entry point. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this.
Adding to that, I certainly believe that Polygon, although it inherits all the security features of Ethereum, it is still not as trustworthy as Ethereum. Because I found an interesting fact that Polygon, even with all these partnerships, all these new industry leaders coming to the Web3 picture through Polygon, it's not making revenue. The chain is making lesser revenue. The chain is making even less revenue than Osmosis, which is a primary DEX in Cosmos. Also, the chain doesn't have enough active developers as other layer 1 chains. So we can pretty much conclude that even though Polygon is far advanced than all other L2s combined, it is still not as established as a L1. And I'm pretty sure that these companies won't launch their certificates or NFTs on Cosmos because Cosmos is not an NFT friendly chain and it has to be Ethereum at this point, even though Polygon is the prime recipient of any further advancements in the space.
Maybe a longer conversation is needed to unpack this. I want to bring in VeChain as part of this discussion, but I'm very conscious that we're timing out here. So, as it's a Friday, give us an insight of where your head is at and where your research is going. I'm trying to avoid putting you in a position to name any low cap gems. I think it's highly risky to even speak about a low cap gem that we could be potentially looking to buy now. But from a research perspective, what are you looking into?
With the recent PPI data, which is purchasing power index data, it shows that the purchasing power is increasing at a considerable rate. That means purchasing power is matching with the inflation. All these implies that people has enough money to invest or gamble or take risks, but this money is not coming from USA. So we are undergoing a massive paradigm shift from the rich USA to maybe the rich Europe or the rich Asia, because although dollar is dominant, dollar is strong, the purchasing power is not as increasing as its inflation rate, because from what I remember, inflation rate is still above 8%. So this is a cause of concern. Also, an area of opportunity for European countries to lead the next level of financial restructuring. Maybe Asian countries too, we don't know for sure. But clearly, USA is on the decline.
I look forward to our discussions around macro and its influence on crypto, Bitcoin, inflation, and the people. It's certainly one that we're planning for coming up in the future. But I'm always impressed with where your research is taking you. So look forward to jamming in that regard. But we must wrap up. It is a Friday. As always, it has been super fun. I'm glad you were able to join and have this discussion with us today. That's it. Until next time, thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. We are signing off.